There we go. All right. Why is it YouTube always has these problems and nobody else does? I don't understand. At least it's hard to say there's with anything going on with Facebook there. All right. I'll stop babbling, I promise, but we got stuff to talk about here for tonight, so stay tuned for more there. If you're just tuning in, welcome to the show. We're almost ready to go, and stand by because here we go. Ooh, that was close. All right, almost hit the wrong button there again. Sorry about that. It is Tuesday. Everything running here. Audio's looking good. Just double checking everything real quick. It is quiet, much quieter than what we saw last night at this time, so very thankful for that. Part of the reason we weren't on Monday is because of the fact we had severe weather going on, so we had to kind of preclude everything for that while I was working about 15 different jobs here in the Weather Center, keeping everybody updated with what is going on. So for right now, there's little, if anything, happening immediately, but there are some changes taking place in the next few days. Add to that, if you're planning on going to the Gulf, the Caribbean, the East Coast, probably a good idea to start paying attention a little bit more. As we go from August into September, we start hitting the peak of hurricane season, and there are signs from the National Hurricane Center that we may be seeing the Atlantic starting to wake up, which is typical for this time of the year, but something that we all need to take a look at, especially, again, if we are traveling. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austin Onley. This is Weather Overtime, our exclusive video weather blog, brought to you, the viewers of News 12, to give you an opportunity to learn more about what's going on with the forecast. We are live on Facebook Live, YouTube, and Twitch. If I'm lucky and the moon's in the right house, we should be able to be on TikTok again at some point in time. We'll see how well that goes. If you got questions about the forecast, please drop them into the comments section below. Again, Twitch and YouTube, that includes you as well. So we'll talk more about what's going on with the forecast here in the News 12 viewing area. If you're not familiar with it, we are coming to you live from Chattanooga, Tennessee, southeastern United States, North America, planet Earth, outlying spiral arm of the western end of the galaxy. For tonight, not much happening, but we will see more potential problems in the next couple of days when we get into the potential for more rainfall and the possibility of some more hot weather, but fortunately not as bad as it could be. Yesterday, we were 1 degree away from the century mark and about 3 degrees away from a record high temperature tying one. Today, not quite so much, about a category below the record high, which hasn't been broke. 1936 was a very hot year for much of the United States, and that was the last time, again, that this record has been hit 90 years ago. So we haven't tied or broken that since, thankfully. 57, when your record low temperatures are in the high 50s only, you know you are smack dab in the middle of summertime, and that hasn't been tied or broken since the 19th century. So, excuse me on that. That, again, gives you an idea as to kind of where we are in the temperatures, and, again, relatively close to the low temperature out there. No rainfall, excuse me. We still have a surplus for the month and a bit of a deficit for the year, even though we did manage to wind up with at least a little bit of rain over the course of the last couple of days. We'll talk more about what we're expecting in the way of rain coming up here in just a little bit. This is kind of a rare phenomenon, but it does happen. What you're looking at is the rising thunderstorm, a cumulonimbus cloud. You can see a bit of the anvil right there. And as the storm rises, it kind of pushes warm, moist air out of the way. And some of the ice crystals or water droplets well at the top kind of form this layer right above the rising air, and that is where the sunlight filters through it, and you get the colors of the rainbow: red, shortest wavelength, closer to the sun; blue, purple, farther away. This is called a Peleus cloud, also known as a scarf cloud, also known as a cap cloud. This happened last week. The conditions have to be right for all of this to be able to see it. Enough moisture, but not too much so that it blocks out the sunlight. It has to be in the right position in relation to the sun, beyond the storm, and you viewing it from this particular angle. So a very nice capture. We saw some of this from News 12 last week on some of the EPB fiber optics weather cam network cameras. And thank you very much, News 12 viewer Brenda B. of Chicago, for a beautiful view there. Thank you very much to all of our photographers for sending in pictures for the HEP heating weather window picture of the day. If you've got pictures, we'd love to see them and show them, but we can't show them until you send them in. You see the problem. So if you'd like to send them in, please do so. You can email them to us. You can drop them to social media in the comments section, or best way to do it, go to our website, wdef.com/photos. You can drop yours off. Please give us a description and or a location. That would really come in handy so we can tell everybody else where you were and what you were looking at. And also, again, thank you very much to the Tennessee Aquarium for allowing us to borrow their secret reef camera for a nice background there. Beautiful view. Nice to have these in the monitors back in the back here. It makes it look like you're actually in the aquarium from that view. School time for Peak of the Week Wednesday. It is going to be another hot and humid one. No question about that. We're going to continue to see some very warm and humid conditions over the next several days. So little, if any, real relief coming on through by the end of this next forecast cycle. Next week, Tuesday, we might see temperatures dip below normal into the high 80s. But for right now, it's going to be kind of iffy on that. So we're going to watch and see just where exactly that takes us. But hot and humid for coming home from school. Outdoor activities tomorrow, you could be seeing some heat indexes back into the 90s once again, and also some pretty serious amounts of sunshine. So please remember to get the sunblock, take that extra water along. Your kids walking or bike riding home from school, they're going to need some water to rehydrate when they get home out there. So please remember that. Make certain everybody stays safe out there. Pleasant for right now. The view from the Chattanooga Zoo, a little hazy, not bad though. Looking back toward the east, Missionary Ridge, no sign of any creatures out and about for this evening, but a beautiful evening nonetheless out there. Let's take a look and see what's going on closer to downtown. See if we got that there. There we go. The lights of Erlanger Park on the north and south towing camera. The towers up on Signal Mountain looking back to the northwest from the News 12 studios for this evening. And one more picture here from the 1% List Scenic City camera. Venus in the far western horizon area and the first quarter moon. Beautiful view. All of these cameras available on our EPB Fiber Optics WeatherCam network page if you'd like to stop by at wdef.com/weather. 80 degrees, again, not bad for right now. Dew point temperatures back into the high 60s, so we do have a little bit of a heat index, not bad compared to where we were, so some very good news where that is concerned. Comfortable, more comfortable than what we have seen for a while. Smoke has been kind of relieved a little bit. The thicker smoke from coastal Georgia all the way back to the delta of the Mississippi, because of that front dropping through here and pushing that smoke down away. We have a lot more smoke from southeast Illinois, the Wabash Valley, the Ohio River Valley, and back into western Maryland. Thanks again to every single red dot that you see on here is from the VIIRS satellite systems, showing again where the spot fires have been taking place. And notice again, there are several dozen of them, even locally around the area. Maybe not much of a plume at this time, but we do have quite a few across the southeast United States, right smack in the middle of fire season, which has been, again, decently dry, so we could use some more rain to help out on stuff. Curiously, we're not seeing a bad problem where it comes to anything in the way of allergies. Now, mold spores remain at the high level, thanks in part to all the rainfall that we've picked up over the last couple of weeks. Tree and weed pollen low, grass pollen at moderate. Information courtesy of the Chattanooga Allergy Clinic. Numbers on the pollutant scale, not bad, back in the yellow to moderate category not too long ago. And again, the potential for not much going on in the way of pollution. So we may see the potential for some more smoke over the next few days and weeks, but not really picking that up for right now. So some very good news on that. Next couple of days, again, we've got a front just down to our south we're going to see more of a possible front moving its way from the north to the south. It's up around Chicago, thunderstorms, severe weather up there, and that front is going to eventually be making its way down a little closer to us, but it's going to take, again, quite some time for that system north of us to make its way all the way down here. When it does, we will see the potential of more showers and thunderstorms possible into the course of the next several days, especially Thursday, Friday, and early Saturday, but that's going to be the best we see. Notice what the temperatures are doing back to the west, around portions of the area close to Little Rock, the Delta, up into portions of Missouri. Big difference between the temperatures on either side here, but roasting down into the south central United States. That front coming through will merge with that last front, the tail end section of that, and then that front continues on down, heading our direction. So Thursday, late Thursday, possibility of showers and thunderstorms, but then we see better potential as that system sticks around into late Friday and also again into the weekend where another front approaches us, and that coming in might help to knock our temperatures down by just a little bit. At least that's what we're hoping for. Whether or not that pans out, we'll see what goes on. But again, for right now, that is the best news that we have for the time being. Little, if anything, going on in the Atlantic at this point, but we'll talk more about that in just a little bit, but nothing for the next 7 days. So says the National Hurricane Center. Lala is way to the west of the Hawaiian Islands, and not much of anything going on to threaten them. Lala is past the Hawaiian Islands. It's heading to the west, way out into the open ocean. A true fish storm, as they are called, because they are bothering nobody but the fish. So little, if any, chance of this making its way all the way across the ocean to cause any more problems. Now, southeast of the Hawaiian Islands, we have a new disturbance. This one, again, about 60% chance of development here. We'll see what goes on with that in the next few days. Doesn't look like much, again, for now. Have they upped that? Yeah, 60%. That's an old one. Let me check to see if there's something new. These updates come out several times a day from the National Hurricane Center. Okay, that has now been up to 70% chance of development, and a tropical depression is likely to form toward the end of the week or over the weekend. Doesn't look like they're calling it a threat to the Hawaiian Islands right now, but this system right over here, there's already a very good, if you notice right there, a bit of a swirl just to the left-hand side of that X. Excuse me. So we may be seeing our next system on there. That would be the I storm after Hernand. That one formed again just a while ago, but that one kind of fell apart. There's a little bit left of Hernand there. Has a bit of a spin, but there's not much structure to it, so it looks fairly lopsided on moisture. So the spin may be happening at the lower levels of the atmosphere near the ocean, but up top, if there's not enough moisture, and you can see the clouds billowing out there, but only on the northeast quarter, excuse me, allergies are terrible right now. There's not much going on with that system. Now, farther to the east, very close to Central America, another system developing now in darkness. This is a visible satellite, but it is several thousand miles away from Hawaii and anything going on here. So just to the west of Central America, a little bit of a spin going on there. That could develop. And this one was at 80% and is still at 80% chance of development. So that's also something to watch there. Now, focusing back on the Atlantic, from the Climate Prediction Center from NOAA as well, that gives us an idea as to what we're looking at way ahead of schedule. You've got short-term forecasts, about 3 to 7 days. You've got medium-range forecast, 10 days to about a month or so, and then anything after that, you've got long-range impressions. So as we leave August and head into September, it doesn't look like much. Again, we're talking about a 20% chance of development, but this is the first time that this polygon has showed up on this forecast, the Global Tropical Hazards Outlook from the Climate Prediction Center. This is the first time this polygon has shown up on this map since about, say, about June, early July, somewhere in there. So it's not a guarantee, but it is significant that we could see something here. Now, this is just week number 2. Watch what happens as I go from week 2 to week 3. That really starts to increase. Now, it curves a little farther up into the central Atlantic. And if storms go that direction, then that's just perfectly okay because they curl up over the colder waters of the north central Atlantic and they don't move to the west, becoming a threat for the United States. But that is no guarantee that every single storm is going to happen that direction. And this is the forecast looking well into September from a couple of weeks out, which means everything you're looking at here is not carved in stone. Everything here will change. This is what it looks like tonight as we head through the mid part of August. So something to really look at. Again, this is a good prime time spot for the development of these storms coming in from off of Africa, the area that we call the Sahel, and then moving out into portions of the Atlantic, where again, that area just on either side of the equator, very much on the warm and humid side, perfect place for development. Now, whether or not anything does form, if we have bursts of dry air, sandy air coming off the Sahara, we may not see too much, but what the computer models are looking at right now is showing an uptick in the possibility, at least the possibility, of seeing more potential storms forming, and that is something to really pay attention to if you're planning a beach vacation anywhere in around the Americas, especially on the east side of all these coasts out there. So Caribbean, Gulf, Western Atlantic, down into the Bay of Campeche. That, again, is something to really watch out for, and we'll keep you updated on this. This is, again, nothing to panic about. It's just something to be aware of, but please, again, be aware that it also only takes one storm to mess up somebody's day, month, year, so we really do need to pay attention to that. So keep it tuned to News 12 for more on there. The steam off of the cooling towers at Sequoia on the Island Cove Marina and Resort camera, working hard tonight, pumping out extra energy for everybody's air conditioning system, and it feels really nice in here after the last couple of days. We're going to see some hotter temperatures as we go into tomorrow. Excuse me. We see again some mid-90s possible. Not much in the way of rain or thunder for Wednesday. Late Thursday, across the day on Friday, especially in the afternoon, and then early on Saturday could be some thunderstorms left over there before we drop the temperatures a little bit. And then that next front I was talking about, that third one that makes its way on through. First one is south of us now. Second one coming in by Thursday and Friday. That's the second one. And then that third one makes its way on through by Monday and Tuesday. So storm system number 3 might be causing some problems about this time next week, but that also drops our temperatures quite nicely. All of this is at or above normal. Then we drop below normal, and a couple of degrees, high 80s, that's not much, but at this time of the year, that really is going to feel more like an Arctic blast, so that could be some very nice conditions out there. Outdoor activity is going to have to be aware of this. We're about 10 days away from the next eclipse, a total lunar eclipse, August 27th and 28th. The next major meteor shower will be the Draconids. We're still a couple months away from that, and we'll see how things pan out in the next few weeks on there, but not really seeing too much of anything going on for that. There's no sign of any major storms coming on through. This will be happening. It'll begin on the 27th at 10:33 p.m. our time, Eastern time, as the shadow of the Earth creeps over. That is Thursday night into next Thursday into Friday morning. The full part of the eclipse will be taking place, and again, this is a partial lunar eclipse. I should have gotten that taken care of. I'm going to check that mistake here in just a little while. Peak eclipse happens early Friday morning at just past midnight, and then the eclipse ends as we go toward about 3 o'clock in the morning. Hopefully visibility will be good. 10 days out, a little iffy for that. Could be some clouds out there. Hopefully not enough humidity to ruin the potential of seeing anything, but we'll see how that goes into the next couple of days. Let's take a look real quick. Let me see, where am I? Let's do this, and then let's take a look here. All right, our weather poll question of the day, courtesy of Williams Plumbing, an 1867 poem titled Proud Music of the Storm was penned by which poet in the 19th century? John Keats, Percy Bysshe Shelley, Walt Whitman, Uncle Walt, as referred to by Mr. Keating, or Edgar Allan Poe. And Walt got twice as many votes as Edgar did, but the correct answer was Walt Whitman. So if you've heard, and one of all of these, my favorite, Uncle Walt is one of my true favorites on the poems there. Thank you very much, Williams Plumbing, for being our sponsor for this. If you'd like to vote in our polls, go to wdef.com/vote now. Use the QR code to get there, or again, just we'll have the update on which voting poll is going to be coming up next. So stay tuned for more on that. We'll keep you advised. So thank you very much to everybody for voting in our polls. A special update, good news on this from the World Meteorological Organization. They hold a contest every year for the best weather pictures on the planet, and they issue it in a calendar that gets sent all over the world. If you send your picture in and you win, you don't win any money, but to have your picture in front of a global audience, that's pretty cool. And if you'd like to submit your pictures, the deadline happened about 2 days ago, but the World Meteorological Organization has extended the deadline until next week, the 23rd of August. If you'd like to enter any of your pictures, and please, I encourage you to give it a try, WMO.int for the World Meteorological Organization /calendar 2027. So a great opportunity to, again, practice your photography skills and to let everybody know what a good picture taker you are. If you'd like to take a look and see more about what's going on there. Tons of information from the World Meteorological Organization about worldwide weather patterns, about scientific research, about climate change. Great place to go to, again, WMO.int. I've always wanted to visit there. Maybe one day I'll actually get the chance to do so. That would be really, really cool to take a look at. That should do it for everything tonight. We've only been on for about 20 minutes. It hasn't been too much of a time for tonight because there's really just not a lot going on. So very glad to have that happening after all the severe weather and the heat that we had from yesterday. If you got any questions about the forecast, we'd love to hear from you. If you don't want to drop it into the comments section, that's just fine. Again, we're on I'm on all these social media pages, but the big three for News 12, Facebook, X, and Instagram, if you'd like to be on there. I'm not on X anymore. I refuse to do that. But Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, if you'd like to get in contact with me and watch all of these live, and drop in a comment section right there. If you like what you see, please forward our weather blog on to everybody else. If you have questions, comments, anything like that, complaints, if you must, look down in the blue bar down below, and you'll see aonic@wdef.com. That's my email address, and again, at our website, you can get more information from anybody out there in regards to what's going on with our forecast, or you can contact our general manager, our anchors, our reporters, our photographers, anybody like that. If you have a suggestion for a story, if you see news happening, we need to know about that. We can't operate this TV station news outfit for you unless we hear from you. So if you have stuff that's going on, please let us know. We'd love to be able to see more about what's going on out there. And thanks to all of our viewers for sending in the information that you do. That should do it for tonight. Chip Chapman will have more on your forecast coming up bright and early on Wednesday morning, so stay tuned for more there. And of course, I'll be back tomorrow evening with more details on the forecast from News 12. That'll do it for tonight. Thanks for joining us for Weather Overtime on Tuesday, the 18th of August. Thanks especially to our sponsor, Epicos Comics, Cards, and Games. You can reach them at epicosccg.com. We'll talk to you again on Wednesday. And